Okay, everyone. One Piece news. Based on what Oda said in this interview, exclusive. It's a TV interview. I don't think he showed himself. We'll go through it. But also, we'll look at the new One Piece volume cover because I think that's fire. And then, as a surprise, I'm going to go to the comments, look at some comments, and answer some of the comments. I'm not sure if it's going to be just from one video, but it's going to be 3 parts where we look at the interview talking about the ending of One Piece, and Oda talked about the anime, stuff like that. Then we're going to talk about your new volume cover because people are going crazy based on the colors of people's hair and stuff. And then we'll read some comments. Not sure if this is going to be a weekly thing where we talk about certain things in the story a bit more casually, right? And then we just go to some comments, maybe a weekly comment reading thing. I used to do that back in the day. I haven't done that in a while. I was like, this is the perfect time to kind of have a 3-part video. Like I said, the interview, the volume cover, and the comments, right? So without further ado, let's get right into the interview, which I didn't know Oda was doing an interview or anything, but he did an interview, and I have it pulled up here. And this is Sandman, a trusted source for all the news we get in regards to interviews. Basically interviews. Interviews and different things that happens within, like, from Oda, pretty much. You see it here. He's a fan of Oda's interviews, and he translates anything from Japan. He translates it for us. Sandman, the Sandman. He's very known throughout the One Piece community. But he talks about the summary of Oda's TV interview today, and he normally divides it into multiple tweets. But the major thing that people took from this interview was that Oda said he would like to finish One Piece in 4 to 5 years. I believe 10 years ago, Oda said he would like to finish One Piece in 10 years, or the editor said that, where it said Oda would like to do that. 10 years later, he's saying 4 to 5 years. We've heard the 5-year thing time and time again. I do think this time he means it, where it's like the 5-year thing. And I talked about this before in regards to the anime. It feels like the Wano's story, Oda is outlining it, and then he's giving the anime the opportunity to fill it in. Now, this is out of nowhere, but this isn't out of nowhere, I should say. But I'm surprised that it's still 5 years. He's still saying that. Mainly because Oda's taking more breaks than usual. So I was thinking that, okay, instead of 4 to 5 years, we can extend that to 6 to 7 based on his schedule. But he's still saying 4 to 5. I don't believe it. I still think One Piece ends in 6 to 7 years. But also, I wonder if Oda is going to either fill in less of the story, more outlines, so that he can meet this 5-year deadline. Because there was something going around about Oda wanting to travel the world when he's 50. I believe he's 45 now. So I'm not sure if Oda's going to speed up his writing, or he's going to just, say, whatever, that's the timeline, that's the deadline. But I still just want to continue my story the way I want to continue it. Deeper in the interview, they get into a bunch of different stuff, but I'm gonna point out the important parts. So they talked about Oda Googles interesting manga to find manga to read. I Google different things. Google is used by all of us, so that's not a surprising thing. He talked about how One Piece was rejected before serialization in the editor's meeting, and editor Asada told Oda that he was surprised to this news. Oda replied he was more surprised than anyone else because he was very confident in One Piece. So for Oda, he kind of knew his story was a shit, right? As much as One Piece has captivated all of us, I would assume, because sometimes as a creator, I'll say this, sometimes as a creator, you know when you have something good. Like, when, okay, man, they're going to love this one, right? You have a feeling, even though everyone may not like it, you have a good idea that the majority of people, once they see this, they're going to enjoy it, right? So I think Oda's the same way, where he was so confident with his story and how much he's outlined his plans for the story, which, funny enough, a lot of the great things we like about One Piece wasn't really planned at all. Like some of the characters, some of the moments, like Shanks pulling up a Marineford at the end. But I guess the outline moments Oda had made this possible. They said Oda did not want to bring his manuscript to Shonen Magazine or Sunday because he wanted to work on the same magazine as Akira Toriyama. So Dragon Ball. We see some Goku influence in Luffy. Luffy's a different character. However, we see it. One Piece isn't like Dragon Ball at all. It's not as simplistic, but it's good to see that Oda looked up to Toriyama to the point that he just wanted to be in the same magazine as him. And for the most part, Dragon Ball, especially in the West, is kind of like the Michael Jordan of it, where we look at Dragon Ball as kind of that series that got a lot of people into anime. A lot of people I talked to, like, what was your first anime? It's like, well, I saw Dragon Ball, then I wanted to get some more like this, and it just it just went from there. Some people talk about Saint Seiya and stuff like that, but for the most part, Dragon Ball, it kind of started a wave. And so for Oda being influenced by Toriyama, stop disrespecting Dragon Ball One Piece fans. Just like, because without Toriyama, there may not be no Oda, right? Because of how much he respects and, looks up to Toriyama. So who knows what path he would have taken if not for that. So Oda also doesn't have an idea of a manga to draw after One Piece. And I believe that. I believe after One Piece is just going to take a break, or Two Piece, right? Where One Piece has so many tentacles, right? There's so many different things you can break off from, so many things we don't know. We could get a whole, literally, 100 chapters of the Void Century, of what happened back then. We could get 100 to 200 chapters of Roger's journey. We could have an entire spin-off showing Garp's ascension, basically from the Marines' perspective, right? In which you follow Kobe. That could be literally 200 to 300 chapters, where we're getting the perspective of the Marines, from Garp as a kid to Kobe's journey to become whatever he becomes. I'm assuming Fleet Admiral. That's how many layers One Piece has. But Oda doesn't have an idea of what to draw after One Piece. I believe that because I think he's dedicated so much of his life to this story. If anything, he'd expand on this. And there was something about Oda wanting to do some mecha at some point. I believe there's something talking about that. But I don't think he has the outlines for it. He's just like, that's probably something I would want to do. But I don't think it's going to be nearly to the extent of One Piece, right? This is his magnum opus. There's nothing Oda would ever make to topple One Piece or top that. Which, I wonder if people were saying that about Togashi once he made Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, this is the best you can do, right? This is it. And then dropped Hunter x Hunter on our heads. So, let me not say that. But based on popularity, it'll be hard, very, very difficult for me to see Oda creating something that can surpass One Piece, right? Oda and his editors, once they get on the phone, they talk for 3 to 4 hours. The max has been 12 hours. His editor Hattori, he fell asleep one time when they were on the phone, which I understand that, in which you're so passionate about something and creating something. You're talking to your editor, you're throwing ideas out there, because we see when Oda's creating like the volume covers, it takes a while for him to kind of narrow it down to one. If he's taking that long with volume covers, imagine his story where he's like, damn, should I have Sanji fight King? Should I have King do this? And the thing is, you have to factor in so many different things. And Oda likes to tie in a lot of like previous things in the story. We talked about the Sanji thing, about Sanji, the Minx retaking of Wano on hold for Luffy to go after Sanji because it was really important. And Sanji coming back, saving Momonosuke, how important that was. It's like Oda does this a lot, right? The Beast Pirates, the Minx. He likes themes. He enjoys irony. For him, I'm sure it's a lot more grueling process, because while One Piece may be viewed as a simplistic story, once you get beyond the surface, you're like, whoa, there's a lot that Oda's trying to convey here. So, I get that, why the meetings, or why just phone conversations would last so long. They said editor Sugita was frustrated due to the delay of the manuscript, but when he read it, he couldn't help crying. It was the chapter where Rebecca met Kiros. It's showing just like how Oda views his story. When Rebecca met Kiros for the first time, it was a touching moment, and I think that was glossed over based on it being week to week and just some expectations from fans. He says his audience would not be moved to tears unless mangaka himself cries. I remember reading that scene, and it was touching with the toy soldier stuff and Rebecca meeting Kiros. It's like, damn, it's been so long, but I think moments like this gives us some insight into just how Oda views his story, and the moments in which Oda could say, man, this is what moves me, touching reunions like that. That's why, when you think of the future of the story, Luffy will definitely meet Shanks again. Based on things like this, Oda will never have it to that Luffy doesn't meet Shanks again. Oda likes moments like that. Luffy reuniting with Sabo, Luffy's final moment with Ace. It's like Luffy has to meet Shanks again. Like, they have to have that moment, because those are the moments I think Oda cherishes the most. And Oda goes into his favorite scenes in One Piece, actually. Because Oda has some people he considers geniuses. Shimori Mayoro Seiya, he's a Japanese comedian. Taiyo Matsumoto, I'm not sure what mangaka he is from, but he's a mangaka that he considers a genius. The anime staff of the World of Golden Eggs, not sure what that is. What was interesting about this, when Oda said, when he feels happy, when he goes to a health spa, he said, Oda believes anyone who lives near a health spa would be happy. I wouldn't be surprised if he had one in his house, right? That's when he's happy, which I get that. Going to a spa is just relaxing. It's just a great experience, right? When he can successfully cook rare meat. It's weird because Oda seems to enjoy cooking so much, which he displays in the story of Sanji being truly at home when he's cooking, but then he screws him over so much. It's like, do you really enjoy cooking? I don't think Oda views it as him screwing Sanji over, it's as him using his character for funny moments, because Oda has a crazy sense of humor. We see it in the SBSs, even here. He considers a Japanese comedian a genius. So comedy above anything, it seems like, for Oda, and touching moments, obviously. But 3, when the anime staffs, they have good relationships as if they are family members. So I think with the anime, it's become more and more apparent that Oda is outlining the story. Then he's communicating with the anime staff saying, hey, this, that, and the third, this is what you should do for this to actually be really, really good. So the 5 to 6 year thing makes a lot more sense because he has a great relationship with the anime staff as if they are family members. So just imagine if you're a family member, how much he communicates with them. So they're like, yo, what do you think about this? Oh, do this, fill this in. I think it's pretty clear where we're going here with the story, right? Before I move on to the volume cover, I want to talk about Oda's favorite scenes in the story, which is really cool. Oda's favorite scene in the show is the opening scene of Wano, because we know Oda has been excited to draw Wano for a while. We know he was basically, I think, an editor for Rurouni Kenshin, so he's been waiting to kind of get into the Wano stuff. He's really excited for this. So the opening scene of Wano, we've seen his pictures several times because it's a beautiful picture. It's a beautiful scene. So that's one of his favorite scenes. The next one is Robin puts the mangrove tree sap to Usopp. Oda says it helps audience to feel as if the One Piece world is real. I get that because I think my favorite aesthetic moments in the anime revolves around Sabaody with the bubbles, like constantly hearing the bubbles and the popping. It makes the environment feel more vibrant. Even when they comment about Kizaru destroying the mangroves and stuff, you feel the world. It feels alive. And I think that's what One Piece is about at the end of the day, when things are happening as Luffy's going through his journey, like, oh, this happened. During the 3-year time skip, all these things that changed, the Marines, the pirates, the revolutionaries, the world feels alive. It doesn't feel like a stagnant story. So I understand why for Oda, this would be important. And for 3, the campfire scene in Skypiea. It was a scene where Oda wanted to draw most in the arc. The campfire scene reminds me of, it was a scene where Luffy looked like a giant in the sky, right? Where it's just Oda flexing his creative muscles here, where Robin at this point is looking at her new Nakama, at this point enjoying life a bit. And I think at the end of the day, how they're dancing around this campfire scene is literally the fans every time a new chapter is released, right? Every time we read the chapter, this is us. And Oda is Robin just looking at us dancing around the manga. Like, oh my God, I'm just enjoying my fans, enjoying my work, right? So this is cool insight about Oda, I'm not gonna lie. It was really cool, like, seeing this interview translated. And the more we learn about Oda, the more interesting and intrigued I am by him. For me, I think Oda personally, I think he's an insane genius to come up with some of this stuff and for the One Piece story to be as tight as it is. There's some things you question in regards to, story, but some of it is personal opinion. Some of it is just, just Oda being amazing. So it's dope. It's dope. There's nothing more you can say than it's dope. So that's pretty much it for the Oda stuff and the ending in 5 years, things of that nature. But let's get to the volume cover, because I think that was pretty dope. Here we have the new volume cover, right? And it is showing Sasaki, Black Maria, X-Drake, Page 1, and also Alti. This video is going a lot longer than I expected, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you guys the volume cover. I'm not going to get too deep into it. This is the volume cover. I'm going to save this for my One Piece prediction for 989 tomorrow, so we'll get more deeper into it for tomorrow because I want to get to some of the comments. But this is it right here. Let's get to the comments now. There's some of the comments. I'm going to try to get through some of the questions. We're going to try to find some good ones. This guy said, you just talked for 17 minutes and made 0 conclusions. 10 out of 10 would watch again. I love comments. Let's see what else. It said, what if Kinemon dies, then we get a flashback with him training Zoro to cut fire? That would be legit. I would like that, actually. Give Kinemon some more meaning. I mean, I think Kinemon is one of the more favorite scabbards based on him being perceived as a leader and being the actual leader now. So it'd be cool. Said they're gonna take him out together. They have to. King is a monster, probably Admiral level. We don't even know King's race. The guy's the strongest creature. I said it before. I don't mind if they take him out together. I think based on their strength right now, that makes the most sense. But him being the strongest creature, that's Kaido. So Devin Hurst says King looks like he could have worked at Impel Down. Yeah, that was a popular theory that King is somehow associated with Magellan or Shiryu because he has the garb like he worked at Impel Down at some point. Maybe he was a creature that was stuck there, and then therefore that's how he kind of took on the likeness and started to dress like that because he used to work at Impel Down, or he was trapped at Impel Down for a while in level 6 and he saw those people. So I think at some point he will be introduced to be associated with Impel Down, definitely in some way. People mentioning this. Simon says, when you say King versus Sanji and Zoro, don't forget Queen is also there. Do you think it could be Zoro and Sanji swallowing their rivalry to team up against King and Queen? I think Zoro and Sanji have no problem working together, right? I think if it's a swords duel, Zoro will never work with Sanji, but at the end of the day, to help their captain, to advance their goal, they would never not work together, you know? So I don't think that's ever a problem, them working together. We've seen them work together before, and they actually have a cool relationship. It's a rivalry, and people were talking about rivalries. I was like, yo, it's not a rivalry because I think Zoro is stronger. Where for me, you don't have to be the same strength to be rivals, right? Sometimes just going after the same goal could lead you to be rivals. Like, you don't have to be the same strength. In rivalries, normally one is better than the other. It's still a rivalry, right? It still happens. Like, I think Shanks and Mihawk is a rivalry, but Shanks is stronger. Afro Mark says, even Frankie's disrespecting Big Mom now. Next thing you know, she'll fall in love with him. Disrespecting Big Mom. I think that comes from expectations and our view of the Yonko, with them being seemingly infallible, indestructible, perfect gods. We have to understand that all these Yonko, they're carefully crafted, different characters that Oda, again, we talked about the interview with his interesting sense of humor. He uses these moments for that. It's like, we love Brooke coming in, Frankie coming in, but we hate that Big Mom has to be on the opposite side of that. And I think it's the same with Zoro and Sanji. We have certain characters, because of the archetype, Oda can play around a bit more in regards to portrayal and how these characters act and, you know, things that happen to them. Where Sanji, you know, Big Mom, characters like that, where it doesn't seem like they get much respect, but something that you don't question is their overall strength. And if it comes down to it, they can hold their own against several people, right? Like for Big Mom, you're not questioning how strong Big Mom is. You're like, oh man, Oda, you keep doing this to Big Mom. She's not a threat anymore. Where I don't think this is a Big Mom thing. I think we have to look at Wano, right? Where the Straw Hats, they haven't been taking a lot of things seriously, in my opinion. If we're not questioning Big Mom's strength, why does this matter? We know this is just a moment for the Straw Hats. This doesn't change anything in regards to Big Mom. Now, the amnesia stuff, if that comes up again, which I think it has to at some point in the arc, I can understand where you said, why is Frankie letting that happen? But Frankie did say he was going to make some Kaido killing weapons. Not sure if that happened to the motorcycle, but if it affects Big Mom in that way, the point was it for it to affect a Yonko, so what's the big deal? You know, so I don't think it's a big deal, but I understand why people would think that. But at the end of the day, Big Mom is still a monster. As many things that happen to her, it doesn't bother me like literally at all. It's fine. Like, I have a video coming out on that on 2 days from now. Okada says, for real, Jack is more dependable than Queen and King. We can't say that. Jack is just more impulsive. Again, there's a fine line between impulsive and initiative. Jack here is taking initiative, but him going after Zoe, going after Doflamingo, is that initiative or being impulsive? So I think in this situation, we're saying he's more reliable. King kicked Big Mom off the waterfall, kept her out of Wano. King basically reacted immediately to try to save Momonosuke. King came to Kaido's aid to search for Yamato. Most reliable? We can't say that because I think in this case, Jack was feeling, because I have a conversation coming out with my guy Lando. Once that drops, I'll let you guys know. Jack was feeling some guilt because I'm sure he's being held responsible for the mink still even being alive, right? So he had to go. Is it him being reliable or him trying to make up for his shortcomings? All right. Perkins Ojega says, Frankie gets the perfect revenge for the Sunny. The Straw Hats should expect the same if they break the ship. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, but it's perfect revenge. Perfect revenge. Big Mom destroyed the Sunny, not completely, obviously, but she did a lot of damage to the Sunny when she got on it. So Frankie being the one to do this, Oda. Marky89 said, hey, Brago, so far we're seeing that multiple Straw Hats have been able to slow down, if not halt, Big Mom for a moment. Want to ask if that qualifies some of the Straw Hats as Yonko commander, because of that, I asked because remember you said that's one of the qualities of a commander. So, yes, I said one of the qualities to becoming or being a commander of commander tier, commander caliber, because I'm leaning towards more, I'll talk about it at some point. My jargon is switched from commander level to commander caliber, because I believe that expresses what I'm trying to say when I talk about levels and tiers, where caliber is more so level of ability, where someone being commander caliber, basically they're showing that they can represent as a commander in a different way, right? It doesn't have to be just strictly through strength. It could be through various abilities, but the level of their ability is comparable to that what we've seen from the commanders. That's why my jargon is kind of shifted from just strictly saying level to caliber, because then we get deeper into ability instead of just having this plateau of commander level, because that doesn't tell enough, right? I think commander caliber tells a lot more in regards to when you're scaling a character. So when I think about Frankie and Brook, I don't think the level of their ability is up to the standard of a commander, but based on who they're going against, if they team up, they can produce the same results of a commander. I hope you guys understand what I just said, but that's why I don't think individually they're commanders, because they had to do all this together. Nami taking Zeus, Frankie coming in with a motorcycle, then Brook cutting Zeus. So it's a combined effort, but it doesn't make them individually commander caliber, but it shows that Luffy as a crew, say he has Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei who's commander caliber, if Yamato joins her as well, the rest of the crew combined could make up for other commander caliber feats. I said a lot just now, but at one day I'll kind of get deeper into it, but you know, I get to one more comment. Baller for Christ says had to unlike because the number was demonic. I love you guys so much. Phantom SSJ says, regarding the new epithets for the Straw Hats, we haven't received one. Nami's will be related to thieves. She'll be known and feared for stealing Big Mom's guns, both Zeus and Apollo. Prometheus? But I understand that. I get that. But guys, because that's the last comment, leave your thoughts below in regards to the epithets for the Straw Hats. And then if we get enough comments about it, I'll make a video just giving my thoughts on what I think the new epithets for the Straw Hats would be post Wano and beyond once they get new bounties. And for my patrons, if you guys are watching this, going forward for the videos like these, I will be collecting your specific comments and going through them and responding to all of them on screen, on video. So if you'd like for your specific question because we're going to try to do this weekly. If you'd like for your video or question to be talked about, you can become a patron and then you can submit it. And then we'll talk about all those things at the end of the videos once we talk about the specific topic. So this video is quite long. I'm going to cut it down a lot, but give me your thoughts. What do you think about Oda's interview? The new volume cover, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BrogOD8. Follow me on Instagram at BrogOD8. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys a lot. You guys do support me. But yeah, that's about it. Make sure to like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Predictions from One Piece 989 tomorrow. Peace.